You are watching
Trinity Episcopal School Production Network. TESPN.
Welcome to this week's TESPN podcast. Really excited to have our new, as of this school year, Assistant Athletic Director, Garrett Compton, who is in the hot seat today to help us get to know him a little bit better. I'm joined, as usual, this fall by Senior Hagan Andrew. And Mr. Compton, it's your first year at Trinity. Been here now a couple months as we film this. How's it going so far?
Appreciate you guys having me on here. This is actually my first ever podcast, so hopefully I can do well. But like you said, it's been a couple months, but I feel like I've been here a year or two already. And that's a testament to the culture and community at Trinity. So it's been great.
So how, you kind of touched on that, but how has it been coming over to Trinity? Like our environment, our sports schedules, how has it been coming over?
So coming over here, definitely a more competitive sports environment, entering the Division I sector. School I was at previously was Division II, so definitely a lot higher competition. And like I said, just the culture and the community, everybody's very engaged, and not just in athletics. I see the arts and academics and, the club fair that we had, just seeing how everybody comes together has just been, it's been special to be a part of so far.
And in terms of just like, we talked about this just a minute ago before we started rolling here, but I'd love for Titan Nation to get a little bit of your background. Like, how did you get into athletic administration, and what brought you from, let's say, being a high school kid at Tucker, growing up here locally, to now where you are today?
Yeah, so it's a funny story. Like you said, I'm born and raised from Richmond, and went to Tucker, graduated from Old Dominion with a business administration degree, and didn't really know what I was going to do out of college. And I got hooked up with a construction job. My boss at the time, his brother was the director of maintenance at Stewart, and we met, and a position opened up there that he recommended me for. And I was 23 and jumped in, and I was at Stewart for almost 12 years. And at first it was more of a maintenance and athletics role that I was in. But as I grew and found more love for the athletic side of things, I started to transition over just to more strictly athletics and grow in athletic administration. So those relationships that you establish when you're young are very important.
So as an assistant or athletic coach, or director, sorry, I'm sure that you have a love for all sports, but are there some that like you lean towards a little more, or maybe you played in high school and just...
So, obviously, non-biasedly, I love all the sports and all the athletics that we offer here at Trinity, but I did play baseball and football growing up, so those two definitely have a more attachment to my heart. But as I've gotten older, I fell more in love with basketball, and baseball's kind of taken a back seat. But also now being in the role that I am and at Stewart and seeing more of the sports of lacrosse and field hockey, you start to fall in love with those sports as well. So it just got love for all of them.
Is there, I don't want to like reveal anything if we're not supposed to. Maybe I should ask you this before you started rolling, but is there any plans for you to do any coaching, or is that an option going forward?
So yeah, I would love to be able to be a part of the golf program. As I've gotten older and into my adulthood, fallen in love with the game of golf, and actually not bad at it either. So I coached the program at Stewart when I was there. So hopefully that's a program that I could be a part of.
Hey, can you play golf?
I do not play golf. I used to.
Were you any good?
I like to think so.
I stink. So you might have to give me a couple of tips.
Hey, more than welcome to.
One thing I've just observed already since you've been here, just as someone who's in this community and around, is your work ethic. It just seems like you're a very hardworking individual. I assume that's something you take a lot of pride in, and we'll just take it as a fact that you are a hard worker. Are there any other characteristics in addition to that work ethic that make you, give you confidence in the job that you do?
Yeah, I mean, they have that saying, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I love what I do, love being around athletics. And so it kind of just comes natural to do what it takes to help be a part of a successful athletic program and department. Love being around people, love trying new things, as I'm here today, doing a new thing. So I think that's a good characteristic. And, people don't talk about it, but in athletics, you got to learn to adjust, and you got to learn to, you get bad weather or you get this and you get that, and you just got to learn to pivot, and the show goes on.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, it seems like you, from what I've observed so far, and we've this fall had a number of weather issues, and we've had a couple of days when the power went out at school, and so there's always having to deal with those things that you can't be prepared for. But it seems to me like nothing throws you off too much. You seem like a pretty steady guy who just kind of rolls with the punches.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, this will be my 13th year in this field, so kind of seen what you can see and experience what you can experience. So, yeah, at this point, I mean, I'm not going to say nothing phases me, but like you said, you just gotta learn to adjust and pivot and keep the show going.
What's your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part, I'd say it would be seeing the athletic teams grow and develop throughout the course of their seasons. And while I may not be coaching any of those teams, I still feel a part of it, and I feel a part of their journey and their success. So being able to experience that with them is probably my favorite part.
Are there any parts you don't like?
Reschedules. Reschedules are tough.
Egan, you got any more questions?
I do not.
All right, cool. Well, let's launch into a little lightning round. We'll just do maybe, let's say, 5 to 7 quick questions, whatever the first thing that comes to your mind. The questions, I don't even know what they're going to be quite yet. They just pop in my head, and I'll filter it out toward you.
Let's do it.
Okay, what is the one golf course you would want to play?
It's funny, the Federal Club, I've been dying to play it, and I think on Monday for our day off, I'm going to actually get the chance to play that course.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Where's your dream vacation spot?
Dream vacation spot. I've traveled quite a bit. You know what? I want to go to Tokyo. I've told my wife that's the place that I would like to go if we could ever make it happen.
Okay, cool. Tokyo. Who is your all-time favorite athlete?
All-time favorite athlete is LeBron James.
Second best basketball player of all time. I see. Okay, he's pretty decent. Sorry, I can't.
I get it.
Anytime someone says that, I feel a need to defend
I
the
get
GOAT,
it.
Michael Jordan, 6-0 in NBA Finals.
That's right.
Google him. All right, what's I know you're a Cowboys fan. I don't want to deal with that right now. But you said you love baseball. Who's your favorite Major League Baseball team?
Favorite baseball team? It's probably the Baltimore Orioles. That's just who I was attached to growing up. Family's been Orioles fans since I was a kid. So that's probably who I would root for.
If you could have been a professional athlete in any sport, what sport would you love to have gone pro in?
Man, if you ask me that now, I would say golf. But if you asked me that 20 years ago, I would want to be an NFL player.
Who is a person in your journey who's been a huge just influence or mentor for you?
Oh man, there's so many people. Probably have to say, my dad's been there for me, been great. So shout out to him. But my wife, man, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. We've been together almost 10 years, and she's just supported me. And in this field, there's early days and long nights, and she's just always been there, right by my side. So,
is there a game or a moment that in your career in athletics that just stands out to you? Like when you're, and hopefully there's many, many more to come, including hopefully this fall here at Trinity, but is there one just when you think about sitting in a rocking chair when you're retired to telling your grandkids, what's the game or moment that you've been a part of so far that you just is stamped kind of in your memory?
Man, there's a few, and I've already got some just from being here at Trinity. The girls field hockey team, and last week both games with Collegiate and Norfolk Academy. Those were huge and special to be a part of. But there's definitely a game when I was at Stewart. The girls basketball team was playing in the state semifinals, and Stewart was actually hosting, and so they let all the students out to come see the game. And I've never been in a gym that was that packed and that loud for a high school basketball game, and that's something that I think I'll always remember, that experience.
That's awesome. And then I guess last one, if you could have like any meal, all expenses paid, what's your go-to like favorite meal to have?
I mean, I've always been a meat and potatoes guy. Love a medium rare steak with some mashed potatoes, but lately I've just gravitated to tacos, man. Love tacos. Could eat them every day, so probably go with tacos.
All right. Well, I also love my steak medium rare. So maybe if girls soccer can get a state championship this year, we can treat ourselves to some Ruth's Chris to celebrate. All right, we'll hold you to that. We got a lot of work to do, but we'll try and get it done. Well, really fun opportunity to get to know one of the newest members of the Trinity community and Trinity Athletic Department, but doing an incredible job so far, and you can just tell, I think it shines through what a hardworking and humble guy Mr. Compton is, and really glad that he's part of Titan Nation now, and thanks to everyone who watched. Stick around. Hagan and I are going to be joined by our buddy Ben Schneider. We're going to kind of recap what's been going on in Titan Athletics here recently. But thanks again, Garrett, and really enjoyed having you, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
All right, so we're joined now by Ben Schneider. Hagan's still here. We heard a little bit from Mr. Compton about how well fall sports are going. So just quick update as I run through our sports. Field hockey, #1 in the state, undefeated. Just beat I think the number 2 and 3 ranked teams in the state last week with big wins over Collegiate 5-2 and Norfolk Academy 3-1. So they look to keep it rolling. And a top 20 national ranking as well for field hockey. Girls tennis is 8-3, ranked 7th in the state. They're doing really well. Volleyball, actually looking forward tonight to seeing them against Veritas, a team that they beat earlier in the year. Football 3-2, but got a huge win up at Flint Hill in their last game, winning 22-20 against a team that we saw in the States last year. Soccer coming on strong, heartbreaking 2-1 loss to St. Christopher's, but still, I think in the last 9 games, only 2 losses, and both were close 1-goal losses to top 5 teams. Cross country went down to North Carolina, and I think over a dozen runners set PRs for them. And is that it? Is that all the sports I think that we got going right now? Yeah, I think that's all the fall sports. So. For you guys, you have a good front row seat to all of it. Y'all are really involved, couple seniors. Who would be, let's say, an athlete of the week or someone that's really been standing out to you recently, Hagan?
I would say Susanna Whitehead. She's #1 seed for us in tennis, and I think they're on a 3-game win streak right now and 7th in the state. So I think she is definitely a big contributor to that.
Yeah, I think she's yet to lose this season, right? And reigning LIS champion at that #1 singles line. How about you, Ben?
Mine's got to be Cabell Burkheiser for field hockey. They've been on a real impressive streak, and her ability to transfer in and be an immediate contributor to a top 20 team in the country and just really hold down that back line for field hockey has been impressive.
And Ben, just in general, with where Titan Athletics are at this stage of the fall, it is October 10th, I believe, as we're filming this. What are just some storylines that stand out to you?
The biggest one for me is probably field hockey. I think it's the obvious one, of course, undefeated #1 in the state, top 20. But personally, I thought there might even be a fall off from last year, just with all the seniors who graduated. But it's been really impressive how they've been able to keep that up.
No, I couldn't agree more. And yeah, an athlete, for me that stood out recently, I guess I'll call it my athlete of the week, but 9th grader Cole Dameron on the football field, the last home game against St. Michael the Archangel, even though the Titans fell, he had to have double-digit tackles. I was checking my program, like, who is this freshman? I mean, I just did not realize he was that impactful at such a young age. And then I watched when football went up to Flint Hill for the next game, which we knew was huge from a state ranking standpoint and a virtual like must-win game at this stage of the season. And Cole had a bunch more tackles, but also the game-clinching interception and a 2-point road win against a very talented Flint Hill team. So he's someone who's really impressed me and has a huge future in Trinity football, of course. Well, we've got a bunch of broadcasts coming up. I mean, I would say from like the second half of October into early November is one of the best times of the year to be following TESPN as we head toward the postseason. Field hockey and football definitely, look to be state title contenders. Soccer knocking on the door for yet another state tournament berth and has a couple huge games coming up. We'll have senior days for soccer, for volleyball. We already did field hockey senior day and football senior day. Also homecoming coming up next Saturday with a big prep league tilt against St. Christopher's. Tennis, of course, is off campus, but they're going to be a contender again at LIS. So just a really exciting time of year, and we're just really blessed and thankful that we have TESPN to bring it all to you. So what a great time it was talking to Mr. Compton, a great dude, and just so thankful that he's with us now. Look forward for next week's TESPN podcast when we'll have more exciting guests. Thanks to Ben, thanks to Hagan. I'm Rick Hamlin. It's been fun doing this today. Thanks you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.